Hi, my name is Regina Spain, and I am the proud director of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the musical. I'm doing this production, honestly, because my husband has been bugging me to do it for the last several years. And I kept saying, we don't have the budget to do that. And he said, we'll find you the budget. And so here we are doing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the musical. You said you wanted honesty, so that's my honesty. Oh, what words would I use to describe this show? Fun, energetic, nostalgic in ways I wasn't anticipating. Yeah, those are three good ones. Oof. What scene best represents the theme of this show? Actually, I think there's a lot of themes to this show. So picking out one theme to represent it. What are the themes of this show? There's so many. I think that, honestly, I think that connecting with each other is a huge theme with this show because at its core, there's a lot of talk in this show about misfits and being a misfit and how we treat others when we think that they're a misfit, when they don't fit in. I think is a huge theme of this show. And the fact that we are all misfits in some way. And I think that we all feel like misfits depending on where we're at in life and environment. And so, and how we can accept people better and more readily. There are several scenes that best represent that. And because everything from Hermie leaving the castle because he wasn't accepted there, to Rudolph leaving home because he wasn't accepted with anybody, with most, the other reindeers, even Santa, kind of everyone except for Clarice and his mom. Everyone else kind of wanted him to change. And so those, I think, as far as the being a misfit and feeling like we need to leave that space, I think those are two pretty powerful ones. I think that the acceptance part comes in a few different scenes. I think one of the biggest ones is actually Yukon meeting Hermie and Rudolph, because Yukon is one of the few characters in here that immediately upon meeting the two that have been ousted, he immediately just accepts them. He's like, okay, come along, let's go. And they go on to travel and to try it and find a place. So did that answer? So I think those scenes, and then the island of misfit toys. You have they come in and not only are accepted as misfits, but then help them in the end to have a place within themselves to be loved and accepted, even though they don't change, because the toys never change, and yet they get to a place in the end that they're accepted in different homes. Our community should come see this show because it's joyful, and it has so much joy and love and that acceptance that we all need to feel. It has all those things, along with all the songs and everything that you see, that you remember from watching it either yearly or when you were a kid, because it's still on every year. And even though the versions have shifted a little bit, it's still on every year to see this show. And so you should come see it, because when else do you get to see a live version of something that you have watched your entire life? You get to see it live here at Interstate Right. So we have been in the rehearsal process for this production. We started vocal rehearsals and choreo rehearsals in July. So we started in July with those two things, with those two elements, and then it wasn't until September that we brought in the general blocking for the entire show and kind of started putting it all together with all the elements. So since July, the rehearsal process honestly was a lot of fun. Like everything else, it has its hard times and everything. Getting choreos down, figuring out what voices work best, especially for ensemble pieces, and the bringing it all together. The timing when you do a musical, you have a lot of underscore. This one has a ton of underscore in it. And so making sure the timing with when you're not singing, but there's all the words and things like that that are just saying to each other, putting those together and getting that timing right with the underscore is always a challenge. But the cast that I have and the tech that I have has been amazing to put all the pieces together. They've been amazing to work with. And so, so overall, that process has just been really nice. The visual elements of this show is something that I've never done before. So a lot of productions in theaters and stuff like that, you'll go and they try to reproduce the movie or the Broadway show or something, and that's not something that I've ever done before. And so doing that for this show actually was very challenging for me, especially because it's a claymation show. So the actual TV show is claymation. So there's some things that you can't just mold and do. And so creating and designing was a lot of fun, but very challenging. Finding even the textures and things like that to make them similar to the TV show, and trying to replicate or create a similar aesthetic, because we're not clay. So how to put together, especially like the misfit toys and things like that, because in my head going into this, I'm thinking, okay, I need bird feathers, I need ostrich feathers for the cowboy that rides an ostrich, all these things, and then getting into it's like, oh, no, I don't. All these are clay and everything. And so we used a lot of foam. Go Whoopie Bowl. We used a lot of foam to put together so many of the more challenging pieces to do. And I had a lot of help. Oh my goodness. So like Talia, she helped me so much with the build, and we were both pretty scared to do it, to do some of these pieces, because they're not normal pieces to do. But this was a production that we couldn't just pull from stock like we're used to. We couldn't just pull from stock and purchase a couple pieces that we would normally do. This was every piece just about was built. And so that was very challenging. The scenic was very challenging to do. And so all my helpers, all my builders and everything that helped me out were amazing. So the color palette comes straight from the show, from the TV show, which of course, it started out black and white and then got colored. So so that was interesting, because there's some that the original colorization on TV is different than what has been transformed into these later versions on TV. So, but we wanted our elves to all be, the original palette. The elves, the girls were in pink and the boys were in blue, and the boss elf is in green. And so we use that same color palette for everything. Even Bumble, Bumble with his fur and then like his face and his hands and everything are blue. And so Yukon is one of those that was different depending on the version. So the earlier versions, it's all green. And the versions that you see, out on displays and things like that, that are today, he's all in blue. And so originally I was thinking blue, but then went back to when it was originally colorized, and it's like, oh, he's actually in green. And so his snowsuit is green. So really it was just a matter of the original color palette and trying to bring those out. The light and sound environment is super important. And so we had our designer, Sammy Jex, and that developed both of those. Sound, most of it is underscore and music, but there's also things that you need to plug into those. The axe, the ice pick axe hitting the trees and different things like that. So that was, I don't want to say basic, but that was pretty straightforward. And creating the world sound wise, the lights were wonderful to do. Making sure, she wanted to make sure that she put movement where we needed it, or still where we needed it. We've got some snow falling. We have some really cool moving gobos for our choreo, for our music. And so, and those are kept, so our general lighting for things is kept pretty realistic. So, which is mostly in day. And so just making sure that we're bright enough, and making sure that, you know, it's a world that is true as the show was, as the TV show was. Something that people might not notice, but was just for me, design-wise. A couple of things actually. So the sleigh that's behind me, even though the dimensions of the sleigh are different than in the show, in the TV show, I transferred the same swirls. So the same swirls, even though they're compact in a different way, are the ones from the sleigh in the movie, in the show. The trees that we have, that's one that I had to make a decision between, because the opening credits of the show, we have the white trees like this that are foam, and you know, they're foam with the decorations on them. And I had to make a decision because that's the only place in Rudolph on the TV that has these kind of trees. The rest of the show all has green trees, still with the same texture and the same shape, but they're all green. Some of them have a little bit of snow, but most of them are green. And so I had to make a decision on whether I wanted to do the green trees with a little bit of snow or just the white ones. And I think iconically, I feel like our audiences, in their minds, these are the trees that exist in that show, because they're really highlighted, I think, in the credits, in the opening credits to the show. And I think that the trees in the throughout the show of it kind of blend into the background. And these are a pretty prominent feature of our production. And so I went with just the white with some garland on them. So those are a couple things that I don't think people would necessarily think about, that I really enjoy about this show. What surprised me the most about putting this production together, one is the nostalgia of the actual doing it in front of audiences. So I was expecting it to be fun for little kids. I was expecting the older generation, you know, like me and up, our generations and up, I was expecting them to enjoy it and have some nostalgia and everything with it. And the kids are loving it. I wasn't prepared for the emotion that the older generations have been having with it on their way out. Some of them have made it very clear about how much this has meant to them. And oh, I'm getting emotional. Sorry. Just how big this has been to. Sorry, we had a lady that was one of our regulars a couple weeks ago, you know, thank me on the way out and started to tear up. She's probably right around 80 years old, and she started to tear up while she was talking to me, just talking about how we didn't just put her in the world of Rudolph, but we put her back on her sofa with her siblings and her parents. That are gone. And another lady basically said the same thing today, and she's over 80, and she was heading out today, and she said basically the same thing. And I was not prepared for those moments. Obviously, I apologize. So those are some things that I did not expect, and it has been such a treat to perform this for you know, it has been great for the kids and stuff, and that's been so fun to watch them react to all the characters and all these characters that they love, and the nose glows, and they're just so amazed. And then you have the older generations that are doing this to me. So that right there, the hardest challenge putting this show together was getting it all done. Getting all the details and everything, getting them all done. Again, I underestimated, because I've never built a show that should look like another show, and the details and things like that are involved in that. I was not prepared for how much work that was when you have to build everything. And so that was definitely, I think, the hardest thing about this specific production was just tying it all together. And there's so many more, because there's all these extras and all these details that I really wanted to plug in. And some of them we got and some of them we didn't. But once the audience goes through and starts talking about how much they love it, it's then you go, oh, okay, if they love it, it is, do I need to spend that much more time on it? The single most challenging thing in this production for me was Sam the Snowman. So because of how to build that to look and feel like a snowman was, and keep that shape and keep, and you want the hat and the the goatee and the mustache and all those things and the glide and all the fun stuff. So Sam actually was probably the single most difficult piece to do for us. The very first thing that happens in the show is Sam comes out. Sam comes out. And he glides out, and you hear audience members, and you hear them say, oh, that's the snowman. And that makes me very happy that they recognize what it is, because for a while it's like, oh my gosh, are they even going to know that it's supposed to be a snowman? And it came together really nice. And so, hula hoops and batting and wire. So yeah, that's the key. So so I think that was the single most difficult. What do I want audiences to be thinking about when they leave? I'd love for people to think about how we should treat each other and how we should look past things that are different from us, how we should try to understand others and understand that at the heart of all of us, we do just want to be accepted, understood. And so all of our faults, people should try and look past. All of our differences, I don't think looking past is the right words. I think that the acceptance is the correct word. So all of the differences that we have, I think that seeing them as being part of the tapestry of what makes all of us unique and fun. And when we think about how we should be like other people, I don't think that we think about how boring it would be if we were all like other people. I think that the differences in us create this really rich and beautiful tapestry that I think would be wonderful if we understood that within ourselves as well as within others. I think that would be amazing to just be like, oh yeah, they do this, they have that, they are this way, whatever that is. I would love for people to just go, oh, okay, that's just part of them, and that's cool. So I think that's that we are all misfits and that's okay. I would say that we've been here for 5 weeks. We've sold out a lot of these shows, and you got 2 more chances because one of them is sold out. No, I'd say come to this show because it's adorable, it is energetic, it is fun, and it will put you in a different time, in a different space, and it'll put you into your TV screen and all that you enjoy about the holidays, about Rudolph and those stories that go along with Rudolph. I think it puts you right back in there in a really fun way. Come to the show because you want to have fun, you want to be energized, and you want to be nostalgic.